I saw this SoFi Bank. They started as a crypto company, turned into a bank. They recently reported, and they have $170 million worth of crypto in their balance sheet, which includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Doge, and Cardano. Okay, so you have random companies that just hold a whole bunch of crypto. And then this site lists out even more companies, right, including MicroStrategy and Tesla and mining companies like HUD-8 and Marathon. And then you have Coinbase and Block and all these other ones. Okay, I mean, in total here, just publicly traded companies from several countries already hold $7 billion worth of Bitcoin, 237,000 worth, right? And who knows who hasn't disclosed? And what about private companies that does not have to report on their balance sheet? You just don't know. You just don't know at this point. That's why the reserves of all the exchanges keeps on going down. Retail investors just think that there's infinite amount of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we never have to worry about supply. That's simply not true. We have so many charts that show the reserves keep dropping and dropping and dropping back to 2016, 2017 levels. Soon they'll drop back down to 2011 levels and go below that, because these guys are not messing around. When they buy thousands at a time. Let's not forget, when BlackRock needs to start buying for its ETF, how many Bitcoins it needs to buy. It could buy 100,000 right away. It could buy more than MicroStrategy, right? In fact, BlackRock is not a majority, but it's one of the largest shareholders of MicroStrategy, in case you guys didn't know. BlackRock is a major investor in many, many, many of the Bitcoin companies already. Including a lot of the mining companies. Same thing with Fidelity. Fidelity owns a large portion of a lot of mining companies as well, right? So it's not like they're not in it. They're already in it, but they're going to need a lot more. They're going to need a whole bunch of Bitcoins when those spot Bitcoin ETFs get approved, because in order for them to sell the shares of the ETFs, they need to hold a lot of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin will lead the way. As big as Ethereum is, Bitcoin is bigger and will continue to lead the way, right? It's just a matter of having patience. Really, just a matter of having patience. Fundstrat says Bitcoin could rise to 180,000 by 2024. Not even 2025. 2024 halving, right? So that's what? Less than a year? Who knows? Who knows? A lot of people have made a lot of predictions, right? Some people think that we could break 100,000 by the end of the year. If that happens, can we get to 180,000 by 2024? Maybe. Are we going to see more bank collapses? That's certainly going to help. We go see some spot Bitcoin ETFs approved. Yeah, it's been rumored sometime in January, February, we're going to get spot Bitcoin ETFs. And if so, if we got billions or trillions coming in, can Bitcoin rise up to 180,000 before halving event? Possibly. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, right? A lot of people are making bold predictions. This one is primarily based on, again, the spot Bitcoin ETFs. You have a lot of whale movement going on right now. $380 million worth of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, I don't even know what project that is, that are being moved right now. And traditionally speaking, when you see a large move like this, for example, about 2,500 Bitcoins being moved from Coinbase, what does that mean? It's going into someone's pockets. That's what it means. It's usually a large OTC sale, and it's not just with Coinbase. Look at this one. A 4,000 transfer from Gemini, 120 million, right? These usually mean that, yeah, you got some large institutional buyers that are just sucking up all the Bitcoins right now, okay? That's what's happening. there's a lot of large entities that are buying and holding behind the scenes, and they don't always have to tell you like MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is probably the only company that likes to brag about how many Bitcoins it has. And every single purchase, of course, Michael Saylor lets you know about it, right? But they're about the only company that does that. No one else really just like proactively says, oh yeah, we bought $100 million and more of Bitcoin, right? So who knows where these, who knows where these wallets belong to, and who just purchased a whole bunch of Bitcoin with this latest CPI inflation reading. Okay, so it's good news and bad news. The bad news is overall headline inflation went up month to month. We were at 3%. Okay, now it's at 3.2%. So technically, you can see right there, we went upwards. From June to July, we went up by 0.2%. The good news is, however, if you subtract off food and energy, okay, the inflation actually went down from 4.8% to 4.7%. So that's the core inflation. Core inflation still went down by 0.1% month to month. Headline inflation went up by 0.2% a month. And here's the thing. It was already anticipated that in July, headline inflation would go up. Most thought it would be 3.3%. So even though the CPI ticked up by 0.2% month to month, it's still lower than expectations. So that is the reason why today the U.S. market is looking pretty green, even though we ticked upwards. And according to this, most of the gains came from housing. Housing is starting to go up once again. Now, here's the thing. One reading, one uptick means nothing, right? But now we have to pay attention to the next one, the one that's going to come out next month, okay? And then we're going to have another FOMC meeting because Powell originally said we needed 2 more rate hikes. But this last FOMC meeting, he kind of took the second one off the table. He didn't say that for sure we need another one. He wants to study all the data, 2 months worth of data before making a determination, right? So this one is okay by itself. But if we start seeing inflation come up in a big way, like the next one, it shows up headline inflation going up again and core inflation no longer going down, going up again. Well, that means we're probably going to get another rate hike, which is something that no one wants, right? So we'll see. So is it time to panic yet? Not yet. But it does show that inflation is not just going to keep tanking down like it has been before. We're getting closer and closer to halving event. This is why everyone's getting excited. And, right before the next halving event, if all those spot Bitcoin ETFs get approved, man, just watch out. After the halving event, you could see all the times before. After the halving event is when things really started getting crazy and we started getting those parabolic runs. Right? We will get the same thing. And this time around, with trillions looking to enter the market and with much easier access, watch out. Watch out. Things are really going to start moving.